Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu Allah bil khair, and good afternoon. Today we're going to be discussing Dr. Faustus, scene 7, correct? But before that, let's make a recap with scene 6. Again, the comic scenes has shown us the events from a different angle. In scene 6, we had Robin, who stole books from Dr. Faustus's library. And they began practicing magic for ill reasons, for women and for food. Now, this comic scene shows us that Dr. Faustus bought these books with his soul, correct? But these boys, they took it for free. Okay? Dr. Faustus thought that magic is something very prestigious and very hard to practice and accomplish. But these boys proved that even if they can't read, they can read these books. That means that these are very silly books. Correct? Okay. This is the case here. What do we have? Anyone can practice it. And now we move to scene 7. Of course, they haven't yet practiced magic. We will see in scene 8 in this lecture how would they practice magic. Can you lend me a book? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so before we enter into scene 7, we have a chorus. And this chorus functions in a very, very beautiful way. It is here to show us that some time has passed, right? So we can't have the entire 24 years of Dr. Faustus' bargain. So it shows us that some time has passed. Dr. Faustus went in a journey around the world to prove cosmography, which is the mapping of the sky or the stars. And it also will give us a new setting. We're heading to Rome, and we will see this. Enter Wagner solos. Remember, Wagner is the servant, and at the same time, he is the chorus. Learned Faustus to know the secrets of astronomy, graven in the book of Jove's high firmament, did mount himself to scale Olympus's top. Being seated in a chariot burning bright, drawn by the strength of yoked dragons' necks. He now is gone to prove cosmography, and as I guess will first arrive at Rome to see the Pope and manner of his court, and to take some part of Holy Peter's feast, that to this day is highly solemnized. Exit Wagner. He's arriving at the moment to Rome, and he's going to meet the Pope. Now, let me ask you something. What is the Pope? What does he stand for? Yeah.
Catholic Church.
For the Catholic Church. Okay, the head of the Catholic Church. He has a symbolic title, a symbolic character. What is it? He's the minister of Christ. Okay? He's the father and the leader of the faith until the resurrection or the coming back of Jesus Christ. Such a big deal, huh? A very sophisticated and intellectual man, a scholar of divinity, the highest of scholars of divinity. Okay, so when you hear that Dr. Faustus is going to meet this man, what would you expect? Discussion. Yeah?
How he can discuss when he deal with his
Debates, right? You would think of debates, two highly prestigious and highly intellectual people disputing about something. Each and every one of them is providing an evidence, correct? That's what you do, because we have Dr. Faustus, the flower of Wittenberg, correct? The man who professed the 4 branches of knowledge, the professor, صح? And then we have the Pope. They're matches, right? So this is what you would expect of such a meeting. Well, I'm afraid Dr. Faustus is going to disappoint us, okay? Yeah, there are a lot of disputes, a lot of prestigious, ethical, and very polite disputes between enemies. For example, we have letters between Saladin, okay, and Richard the Lion's Heart. They were enemies, correct? But at the same time, they held so much respect for each other. And these letters between them, coming back and forth, they are considered a sort of literature, because they have such a high regard for each other as enemies, right? Well, let's see. Scene 7, enter Faustus and Mephistopheles. Having now, my good Mephistopheles, passed with delight the stately town of Trier, environed round with airy mountain tops, with walls of flint and deep entrenched lakes, not to be won by any conquering prince. From Paris next, coasting the realm of France, we saw the river Main fall into Rhine, whose banks are set with groves of fruitful vines, then up to Naples, rich Campania, whose buildings fair and gorgeous to the eye, the streets straight forth and paved with finest brick, quarters the town in 4 equivalents. There saw we learned Marrow's golden tomb, the way he cut an English mile in length through a rock of stone in one night's space. From thence to Venice, Padua, and the rest, in midst of which a sumptuous temple stands that threats the stars with her aspiring top. Thus hitherto hath Faustus spent his time. He's telling us how he spent his time, moving from one city to another and from one country to another. But tell me now, what resting place is this? As though as erst I did command, conduct me within the walls of Rome. Faustus I have, and because we will not be unprovided, I have taken up His Holiness' privy chamber for our use. The private room of the Pope. I hope His Holiness will bid us welcome. Tut, it is no matter, man, will be bold with his good cheer. And now, my Faustus, that thou mightst perceive what Rome containeth to delight thee with, know that this city stands upon 7 hills that underprop the groundwork of the same. Just through the midst runs flowing Tiber stream, with winding banks that cut it into 2 parts, over the which 4 stately bridges lean, that make safe passage to each part of Rome. Upon the bridge called Panto Angelo, erected is a castle passing strong, within whose walls such store of ordnance are, and double cannons framed of carved brass, as match the days within one complete day, besides the gates and high pyramids which Julius Caesar brought from Africa. He's describing Rome. Because Dr. Faustus is a scholar, he wants knowledge, correct? So he's describing, giving knowledge to Dr. Faustus about the city. Now by the kingdoms of infernal rule, of Styx, Acheron, and the fairy lake, of ever-burning Felthegons, I swear that I do long to see the monuments and situation of bright, splendid Rome. Come therefore, let's away, let's go into the city, right? Here's the response, nay, Faustus, stay. Who's saying that? Mephistopheles. Nay, Faustus, stay. I know you would fain see the Pope and take some part of Holy Peter's feast, where thou shalt see a troop of bald-pate friars, whose summum bonum is belly cheer, whose great interest is what? Their bellies. So he's insulting the priests, he's insulting the church. Well, I am content to compass then some sport. Look how he describes it, a sport. And by their folly make us merriment. Then charm me that I may be invisible to do what I please, unseen of any whilst I stay in Rome. So Dr. Faustus asks Mephistopheles to make him invisible. Didn't he want his own words to be applied in magic? Have we seen him up to this moment practicing true magic? No, he's just requesting things from Mephistopheles. Weird, huh? So he's not a magician after all. And we'll see that happen again and again. He just asks for Mephistopheles, and Mephistopheles is the real deal. He's the one who's casting the spells and doing magic. Mephistopheles casts a spell on him. So, Faustus, now do what thou wilt. Thou shalt not be desired, you will not be discovered. Sound a sonnet, enter the Pope and the Cardinal of Lorraine to the banquet with friars attending. Faustus is invisible. He's with them. My Lord of Lorraine, will it please you draw near? Fall to, and the devil choke you and you spare. How now? Who's that which speak? Friars, look about. Here is nobody of it like your holiness. My lord, here's a dainty dish was sent to me from the Bishop of Milan. I thank you, sir. Snatch it. How now? Who's that which snatched the meat from me? Will no man look? My lord, this dish was sent me from the Cardinal of Florence. You say true? I'll have it. Snatch it. What? Again? My lord, I'll drink to your grace. I'll pledge your grace and snatch the cup. My lord, it may be some ghost newly crept out of purgatory, come to beg a pardon of your holiness. It may be so. Friars, prepare a dirge to lay the fury of this ghost. Once again, my lord, fall to. A dirge is a dirge is some sort of a song that is sang in funerals, a religious song. Okay, so they think that it's a ghost that crept out of purgatory. Okay, an angry ghost, and they would try to calm it down and send it back to its place. So the Pope crosses himself, you know. That makes Dr. Faustus mad. What? Are you crossing of yourself? Well, use that trick no more. I would advise you, cross again. Well, there's the second. Aware the third, I give you fair warning. cross again, and Faustus hits him a box of the ear, and they all run away. What a sight, huh? Someone gets punched out of nowhere, of course they're all gonna run away. Come on, Mephistopheles, what shall we do? Listen to the response. Nay, I know not. Who made him stay? Mephistopheles. Who tempted him to play tricks on the Pope? What about now when he's in a rough situation? Nay, I know not. He abandoned him. Nay, I know not. We shall be cursed with bell, book, and candle. How? Bell, book, and candle, candle, book, and bell, forward and backward to curse Faustus to hell, an unusual hear a hog grunt, a calf blet, and an ass bray, because it's St. Peter's holy day. He keeps smoking. Enter all the friars to sing the dirge. Come, brethren, let's about our business with good devotion. Sing this. Cursed be he that stole away his holiness meat from the table. Cursed be he that struck his holiness a blow on the face. Cursed be he that took Friar Sandalo a blow on the pat. Cursed be he that disturbs our holy dirge. Cursed be he that took away his holiness wine. And at the end they say Amen. Faustus beat the friars and fling fireworks among them, and so exits. This is how Dr. Faustus met the Pope, the minister of Christ. Was that the meeting of two intellectuals? No, that was the meeting of a fool, of a clown with a holy man, correct? We do now understand that Dr. Faustus and his magic are so weak that he can be expelled by a book, a bell, and what? And a candle. Symbolic things, religious things, right? But yet simple things, very, very simple. And he was, with all his might, he was expelled. Now, this was a bit funny, correct?
Right.
But this is a tragic scene. Scene 7 is a tragic scene. How come it's funny? How come it's tragic? What's so tragic about it?
It's the beginning of the downfall of Dr. Faustus.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. It's the beginning of downfall. But how is it really tragic?
Now he's no longer deserve the title doctor.
You wouldn't see that coming from a doctor, right? From a professor.
He wasted his all knowledge for a childish tricks.
Exactly. Dr. Faustus here is the tragic event. Okay? It's called dark comedy. Is it playing? Yeah. It's called dark comedy. Yes, there is laughter. But when you remember that this is the scholar, this is the flower of Wittenberg, this is our protagonist, you feel bitterness. You would say, what a waste, right? What a shame. It's just like, have you guys seen, do you guys know Bill Clinton? He's an American president, okay? He used to be one of the best presidents, okay? But recently in the Epstein files, we saw some pictures of him, right? That man was a role model. That man was such a great man in the eyes of so many young people. And they saw him dressed that way. It's really heartbreaking. For a person who doesn't know him, he's going to laugh. But for a person who really knows him, who really lived that era, that's heartbreaking. See? See the difference? That's tragic. And the same goes here. Dr. Faustus is such a great man. You wouldn't see him like this. And if you do, it's heartbreaking. Okay, so let's see what we got. We've talked about this. So again, dark comedy. Yes, it makes you laugh, but at the same time, it brings bitterness to your heart. So it is between Dr. Faustus, the scholar that we had before, right? And Dr. Faustus, the clown that we have now. We understand now he's weak, very weak, that he can be expelled by a book, a bell, and a candle. And what about great Mephistopheles? Nowhere to be found, right? He trapped him and, left. So is it a tragedy or a comedy? It's a tragedy. So do we have a godlike figure or a deluded fool? A deluded fool. A scholar or a clown? A clown. This is the degradation of the character. This character, probably this is the first step towards its degradation. We're going to see more and more. We're going to see him go rock bottom. Okay? And this actually is the thing that makes it a tragedy. That you see such a great man hit rock bottom. Okay, so let's move to scene 8. We don't really need a presentation for scene 8. Let's just read it. Okay? The important thing in scene 8 lies basically at the end of it. But it is fun to read, really. We're back with Rafe and Robin, huh? Previously we saw them, stealing the books, and they're gonna go and practice magic. Now we're gonna see them do it. Enter Robin and Rafe with a silver goblet. They've stolen the goblet. Come, Rafe. Did not I tell thee where we were forever made by this Dr. Faustus's book? Here's a simple purchase for horsekeepers. Our horses shall eat no hay as long as this lasts. So he cast a spell to make the horses no longer need hay. Enter the vintner. But Robin, here comes the vintner. Hush, I'll gull him supernaturally. Drawer, I hope all is paid. Goodbye with you. God be with you. Come, Rafe. Soft, sir, a word with you. I must yet have a goblet paid from you before you go. I a goblet, Rafe, I a goblet. I scorn you, and you are but I a goblet. Search me. I mean so, sir. With your favor, searches Robin. How say you now? I must say somewhat to your fella. You, sir. Me, sir, search your fill. Now, sir, you may be ashamed to burden honest men with a matter of truth. Searches Rafe. Well, it's one of you hath this goblet about you. You lie, drawer. It is afore me. Sirrah, I'll teach you to impeach honest men. To Rafe, stand by. To vintner, I'll score you for a goblet. Stand aside, you were best. I charge you in the name of Beelzebub. Look to the goblet, Rafe. What mean you, sirrah? I'll tell you what I mean. He reads from the book, huh? Look at the last word. What is it? Mephistopheles. He drops a spell and mentions the name of Mephistopheles. Enter Mephistopheles, sets squibs at their back. They run about. Mephistopheles comes from their behind and puts his hands on their shoulders. But in what form? As a demon, as a devil. Okay? So they got scared and they ran off. Ventnor, O nomine Domini, what meanest thou, Robin? Thou hast no goblet. Here's thy goblet, good Ventnor. What shall I do? Good devil, forgive me now, and I'll never rob thy library more. Enter to them again Mephistopheles. Vanish, villains! The one like an ape, another like a bear, the third an ass. Ass here means donkey. For doing this enterprise, exit Ventnor. This is very important. Very, very important. Monarch of hell. This is a soliloquy, by the way. Mephistopheles is all alone. Monarch of hell, under whose black survey great potentates do kneel with awful fear, upon whose altars 1,000 souls do lie. How am I vexed with these villains' charms? From Constantinople am I hither come, only for pleasure of these damned slaves. How? From Constantinople you have had a great journey. Will you take 6 pennies in your purse to pay for your supper and be gone? Well, villains, for your presumption, I transform thee into an ape and thee into a dog, and so be gone. He exits. How? Into an ape? That's brave. I'll have fine sport with the boys. I'll get nuts and apples, you know. And I must be a dog. I faith thy head will never be out of the pottage pot. And they exit. The extract that I told you that's important, in it, Mephistopheles speaks or prays to Lucifer, telling him that with all the might that he has, Lucifer I mean, and all the abilities that Mephistopheles have, he is still vexed, he is still stuck with the incantations. These 2 slaves, as he puts it, were able to bring him from Constantinople, which is Istanbul today, to Germany in a blink of an eye. Why? Because they managed to read the incantation and they forced him to come all the way, leave whatever he was doing and come to them. They're silly, but they were able to do it. Now, bringing Mephistopheles, of course, is one thing, handling him is another, yes, but still, they were able to do it. So did Dr. Faustus, did he do anything that is wondrous or miraculous or amazing or? No. 2 slaves were able to do it. Again, Dr. Faustus made a very bad and regretful and shameful choice, correct? Now this scene again clearly shows that. Okay, so we're gonna stop here. Next lecture we're gonna have scene 9 and 10, and then the lecture after that we're gonna have 11, 12, and 13, and then we're gonna be done with Dr. Faustus. The upcoming scenes are really, really painful and tragic because they show again Dr. Faustus's degradation and deviation. It's going to be heartbreaking for some of us, okay? And then we're gonna finish the play. With this, we've come to the end of our lecture. Thank you very much indeed. Class dismissed.